Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. I have no idea what is in this package. I think I maybe have a clue. I don't know. I mean, a lot of companies use the same packaging. We're going to find out together. As per usual, if it is something I can link, I will link it right down below in the description. It does help this channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Okay. Well, this is extremely there's nothing here. So, oh, it's Sitivien. Okay. Yeah, that's right. They told me they were sending me something else. Okay, all right. This will now be the second one that I've taken a look at. First one was pretty good, right? It was interesting. It's always nice to look at knives from newer companies. I mean, there's a lot, especially when it comes to the Chinese companies. There's a lot of them. Try to be choosy. Try to pick things that I feel like look like they're going to be a nicer quality knife. And right off the bat here, we have something that I always appreciate, and that's shadow boxing. We also have some shred carbon fiber. Let's take a look at this. Hold on a second. For a second, I think the oil was throwing me off. Well, what am I feeling here? Initially, it looked like voids, but I'm not feeling anything. I literally just got done with a video saying nature of the beast for shred carbon fiber is to, well, it's, to expect voids. We've got a couple little frayed areas up here. This is typical of shred carbon fiber, but here's the thing. The honest truth here is that running my finger over the surface, I'm not really feeling anything. I think what is initially looking like pock marks, or what we call voids, that are extremely present normally in shred carbon fiber, it's just reflecting off of a little teeny tiny surface. The edges right around the screws you can see there and up here, but truthfully, that's it for that side. Same over here. Maybe one little one under the pocket clip. I gotta be honest here, this is some of the cleanest shred that I've ever seen. That's a nice, classy looking, almost like ultra classic looking knife, like almost like a traditional knife. This is a liner lock, and I'm going to guess that that liner is steel. I am correct. Just because it's magnetic doesn't mean that it's steel. Yeah, but in the case of a pocket knife, I mean, we can use deductive reasoning here, okay? Mr. Nasal Spray. In the knife world, typically, right, it narrows it down to a few different choices that are, what we expect from a reliable build, right, in a pocket knife. So we have a almost a modern traditional. It's a liner lock, M390 blade. The blade especially. Sitivien doing that really nice finish. At first glance, it just looks like a satin or light tumbled, but really, I think they call this their pearlescent finish or something like that. I actually really like this. I like kind of a medium reflectivity. I used to call it, years ago, I called it like an overcast, right? It kind of looks like vapor blasting, which is something that we see on, I think CKF has done it, and maybe Shirogorov. I don't think it's exactly the same thing, but it's obviously blasted with some type of media. That's what it looks like to me. But the result is very even, just really nice. You can almost see like micro texturing in there on the surface. I really like how that looks. Access to the liner is good. Well, there's space to get in there because of this little carved out scallop right here, but they did not lower it on this side, making it a little bit pinchy. And then the edges of this side where the scallop should have been. The scallop shouldn't, I mean, it should never be like this where it's scalloped. Okay, well, let me go from worst to best. The worst way to do this is to not scallop either side. The next worst thing is to scallop only the show side, the non-liner side, right? Then, the next worst is to not scallop this side, but scallop this side. The best way to do it is to scallop both sides and drop both the liner and frame, if present, on the show side scale. That way there's access, or easier access there. Make no mistake, though, you can still get in there. And honestly, the action is pretty darn smooth. The detent is also, I'm going to call that kind of a medium detent. It's kind of a diagonal approach. It's light switch, but it's a little bit push buttony because of the ramp right here. But it's good. There's enough room to get a full grip here. We have actual bolsters. These are, it's not a faux, right? Because this isn't the frame. This is an actual titanium bolster that's been blasted. Nice little pivot collar, right? Looks like T8 construction. We have a full backspacer, and we have a milled clip. Pretty classy looking knife, honestly. Can you get it that fuller? Yeah, you can. You kind of have to dig at it. Yeah, but it works. Full grip. Nice little sharpening choil there. Pretty darn thin behind the edge because of the initial, I'm going to guess the stock thickness is about 125 or 125 thousandths. But there's plenty of room for it to drop, and it drops pretty aggressively. So you have a pretty darn thin cutting edge behind what is a pretty traditional, let's say, drop point, right? Well, technically, that's what, yeah, baba, jabba, jabba. I'm going to call it a drop point, okay? Nice little swedge up there. I think the Sitivien logo is just a bit like, you know? I think that the aesthetic of this knife would be dramatically improved by not having that logo there. I think maybe you should put it on the other side and make it much smaller. Same way with this, what I assume is the model number and the printing of the steel. All of that, I mean, realistically, you should probably squeeze it into one little area on this flat if you have to put it on there. Billboarding is not something that people really enjoy, especially when we're looking at a relatively expensive knife, which is, I'm guessing, what this will be. Now, this should not be overly expensive. It certainly should not be, you know, over $200. Judging Sitivien's other stuff on Amazon, though, I doubt that it is. I am hoping that they use steel liners on this to reduce the price of it. It obviously would have been quite a bit more expensive to do titanium liners on it. Would have been pretty cool. But I'm going to guess this is probably priced reasonably. I'm going to guess that this is probably an impressively priced M390 blade. As I mentioned in past Sitivien videos, I don't know how they're heat treating this stuff. I would hope that they're at least hitting the sort of, like, it's almost like the Chinese knife industry standard of 59 to 61, which I've said many times. 59 is, in my opinion, too low for M390. The starting point of acceptable, not great, acceptable, is 60, in my opinion, as someone who is not a metallurgist and literally just uses his knives like a regular person and reads a lot, right? Which is, you guys are no different than me, a lot of you, right? Some of you have more knife experience than me, but I'm just making sure that you understand where you're getting this information from. I think that the standard should be 60 to 62. 61, 62 is much better for M390. And for people thinking, what's the big deal? It's just 1 or 2 points. There is an exponential, I'm not using that word lightly, I'm using it literally, an exponential difference between the scale from 60 to 61 in terms of how it changes the composition and how it ultimately performs. If we're isolating edge retention, there's an exponential difference in the performance from 60 to 61 and from 61 to 62, etc. Obviously, you don't want to get it too hard because then it becomes overly brittle, right? So a lot of it has to do with what you're going to use the knife for. And if you're going to be overly aggressive or you're going to use your knife like a hammer, then M390 is simply the wrong composition, rather than saying, I don't mind it at 58 or 59 because I beat on stuff with my knife like a hammer. Okay, well, you're using both the wrong tool and definitely the wrong composition there. I mean, we gotta break everything down for you and just totally start over with the foundation of what it is that you're looking for. But anyways, ramble. What does it weigh, and how much does it? What's the size of it? Let's do that real quick. This is not a review, just an unboxing and first impressions. 3.49 ounces, not bad at all. I'm gonna guess the blade is probably 3 1/4 to 3.35. Just a guess. Overall length 7.5. More, 7 3/4. Blade length, no, 3.5 on the blade length. Cutting edge is 3 1/4 though. Surprised every day. Okay, The name of this knife will be included down in the description. You will get a full comprehensive review of this knife 3 to 4 weeks down the road from now. Takes me a bit. I got a lot of stuff to review. Thanks again to Sitivien for sending this model in. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.